everyone and welcome back to Googie's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name is Alexis and I post 2 videos a week on a Tuesday and a Thursday at 7 AM. So if you love a recipe video like this one and you want to see more, then please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And now I'm going to share with you how to make my delicious meaty jambalaya. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make a delicious meaty jambalaya. So I think jambalaya is Caribbean. I have never been to the Caribbean, but I would love to go one day just to try the food basically. Some of the Caribbean stuff that I see online looks so delicious and I always have to try it, and this is my take on a meaty jambalaya. If I've got this wrong in any way, I'm really sorry. I love this dish though. It's really easy to make and it's a very filling dish as well, and the ingredients aren't too unhealthy either. So we're going to be having it for our dinner this evening, and of course while we were making it I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my delicious meaty jambalaya. To start this recipe I have got myself a large pan and I'm going to put that on a high heat on my hob, and I'm going to add a little bit of oil to the base of the pan like so, and I'm going to leave this pan to heat up. The pan is getting nice and hot and I can tell that because it's just beginning to smoke around the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some spring onions to this. So I have topped and tailed about 8 spring onions, and I've just cut the spring onion into about 1 centimetre pieces, and I'm going to put that into the bottom of the pan, and I'm going to fry these spring onions until they start to soften and become clear, translucent. So the spring onions have started to soften now and they are becoming slightly translucent as well, clear. They won't become completely clear obviously, but they will start to, the colour will start to fade in them, and they'll start to go a golden brown colour like they are now. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to turn the heat down slightly, and I'm going to add a little bit of water to the base of the pan just to stop everything from sticking. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to add in 1 whole garlic clove. Now this was a really large garlic clove, so if you wanted to use 2 then you could. I'm just going to add that to the bottom, and all I've done with that is I've just peeled and sliced it, and I'm going to fry that for about 30 seconds or so. The pan is nice and hot so it shouldn't take too long to cook, and you just want it to go slightly golden brown. So I'm just going to continue to cook this. It's gone slightly golden brown around the outside, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 1 red pepper that I have sliced and diced. So I chopped the top off, removed the core and the stalk, and now I'm just going to add the sliced and diced pepper to the base of my pan like so. Continue to fry this now until it starts to soften. It does take a little while for pepper to soften in the bottom of the pan, so do bear with it, but it will soften eventually. You just want it to start to soften around the edges basically. So I'm just going to continue to fry this pepper. The pepper has started to soften beautifully, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 1 courgette that I have peeled and grated. So I'm just going to add that to the bottom of my pan. You don't have to grate the courgette if you don't want to. You can simply slice it as well. I tend to have to hide food in our meals because my husband and son aren't great vegetable lovers, so I'm forever hiding food in our meals. So that's why I grate it. Plus I do think it gives it an extra bit of sweetness if you grate it as well. That could just be me though, but I do love a little bit of sweetness from a vegetable. So yeah, I'm just going to continue to fry this for about a minute or so, and I'm going to mix it in with the peppers as I go. The courgettes have been in there for about a minute or so now as well, and they look really nice and soft too. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my rice. Now I'm cooking this for 2 adults and half a one. So I've actually just halved the ingredients and then added a little bit more. So I've got 175 grams of rice, but I think in the original recipe I said to use 300, and that would serve 4 people quite nicely. So I'm going to add that to the base of my pan, and I'm going to fry the rice now until it starts to get slightly clear in the bottom of the pan. This shouldn't take too long, should only take about 30 seconds to a minute, and brown rice does do a similar thing to risotto rice, so it will start to become clear after a little while. I think that is it there. I think it started to become clear. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my stock to this. So I've got about 600 mils of chicken stock, but you could use bone broth or you could use veg stock if you wanted to as well. And I'm going to pour the chicken stock over the top of the rice, and I'm going to leave the rice to cook in the chicken stock. So I'm going to bring this to the boil now, and then once it's on the boil I shall put the lid on. Well, I'm going to put the lid on before actually. I shall turn it down, turn the heat down and just leave it to simmer. So I'm just going to turn the heat up slightly. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of tamari as well to this, and the tamari is like soya sauce, except this one is fermented for longer and it's also gluten-free as well. I have a slight gluten intolerance, so I like to use this one, but if you wanted to use soya sauce then you could. So I'm just gonna leave that to come to the boil. The ingredients in the pan have started to come to the boil now, so I'm just going to turn the heat down to a medium heat, and I'm going to leave the ingredients in this pan to cook until all of the liquid has been absorbed into the rice. As always, I've forgotten to add the salt and the pepper, so I'm just going to sprinkle over a little bit of salt, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of pepper as well. And then I'm definitely going to leave this until all of the liquid has absorbed. The rice has cooked, so all of the liquid has disappeared now. When I pull the spoon back, I can't really see any liquid. So I'm going to set this, I'm going to turn the heat off for a minute, and I'm going to set this aside, and then I'm going to cook my chorizo and my prawns. I'm going to cook the chorizo first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my frying pan onto a high heat, and I'm going to add oil to the base of that pan. I keep forgetting to take my oil out the cupboard today. I keep putting it back, being neat and tidy, and forget to take it out, so that always helps, doesn't it? And I'm just going to leave this pan to heat up now. The pan has started to smoke and get nice and hot, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my chorizo. So I have simply taken off the skin because it makes them a little bit less fatty like that, and I've cut the chorizo into about 1 centimetre or half a centimetre piece, and I'm just going to put that into the base of my pan, and I'm going to fry that off now until it's sort of a golden brown colour, I'd say. The chorizo is a lovely golden brown colour now, so what I'm going to do, without trying to put the oil in as well, is I'm going to try and put the chorizo into the pan like so. I want to keep the oil though, because I want to cook the prawns in the oil. That will make them really tasty then. So I'm just tipping out the chorizo into my saucepan like so. I'm going to set that aside again, and I'm going to put the pan back onto a high heat, and once it starts to smoke I shall start cooking the prawns. The pan has really started to smoke, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply put the uncooked fry these now until they start to turn pink. I have 2 packets, so I'm just going to cook this first packet and then I shall do the second. And then again I will put them into the saucepan with the rest of the jambalaya. The prawns have gone pink, so I'm just going to put those into my saucepan like so. And then once they're in, I shall put the pan back on the heat and I shall cook the second packet of prawns. That's the second packet of prawns cooked, and I'm literally just going to tip everything in now because I want the flavour from the oil as well. I know it looks quite watery. I'm just going to tip a little bit of that water in because it will have some of the oil in. So I just want to. Now what I'm going to do is just mix everything together. This is how easy this dish is. I'm going to turn the heat off as well because everything is cooked. And the final thing for me to do is just to add in a couple of handfuls of spinach. So I've just chopped up some spinach and I'm going to put the spinach in as well, and I'm going to mix everything together until the spinach has wilted basically. And that, my friends, doesn't it look good? It smells good as well. That, my friends, is our dinner done. That's how you make my delicious meaty jambalaya, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be having this for my dinner this evening and it smells so good, I can't wait. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye.